You guys, I'm a wizard now. That wasn't creepy at all. They only had this house. They didn't have the other one, so I was kind of disappointed, but still, I'm a wizard. I was really happy about this. So I don't know if at this particular time when you're seeing this video, even though I'm filming it first, it probably won't be up first if I do Vlogmas or anything else. But if I am doing Vlogmas, hello, welcome to Vlogmas Day. But if not, just know it was probably laziness that I decided just not to do it. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started for my September book haul. Yes, you're reading that right. It is my September book haul. I'm so behind on book hauls, but if I were to combine them all in one video, that's not gonna work because for September and October I have like quite a few books. So I'll probably put my November and December book haul together though. So let's get started. I will link my 2017 Goodreads shelf down below because for all the books I mentioned, I may not give a synopsis, or maybe you'll find them interesting. You want to know more about them. And all the books that I purchased, and these, I believe, yeah, I purchased all of these. I didn't get any as gifts. They will be linked in that 2017 Goodreads shelf. So go ahead. The first things that I want to talk about are my audiobooks that I got. So the first thing I got was Extracted, which is by R.R. Haywood, and is the first book in the Extracted trilogy, and I'm looking forward to this because I really love the audio. I'll always listen to the sample of an audiobook because there have been quite a few times where I've just had to pass up on it because it was not going to happen. But this one takes place in the far, far future, and the scientist guy is messing with time. Something goes wrong or whatever, and then he plucks 3 people from time at the time of when they're about to die or something, so they can go help him fix some things with time. This is why you shouldn't be messing with time in the first place. And then I got Pilot X by Tom Merritt, and this one has to deal with time. It's really hard to mess with time in this apparently, but apparently there is a time war going on, and then his people choose him as like to fight in the war or whatever, but then he creates peace, and his people kind of hate him for that and see him as a traitor for creating peace. So this is going to be interesting, and this is a standalone, so I'm really looking forward to this. And then there is Openly Straight by Bill Cosingbury, and it's about this boy, and he is out and proud at like school, and then he goes to talk to other schools, and like he doesn't get bullied for it, but he's just kind of known as a gay person. So when he transfers to a boarding school, he decides to kind of keep his sexuality a secret, not necessarily like all the way down low. Like, I'm sure if somebody asked him, he'd probably say something, but like he's just not going to be like all out all the time. But then like he sees things going on, and I don't know what happens, but I've heard good things slightly by one person, so I'm really looking forward to this. Then the next thing that I got is Sandman Slim by Richard Cardry. And this one follows this guy who dies, goes to hell for like 11 years, and then while in hell becomes a hitman for hell, and then he escapes hell right back to Los Angeles. So this one sounds so funny. The audiobook started off so funny, so I'm really looking forward to this. And I'm not sure if I said it, but when it comes to audiobooks, I always listen to the sample, because sometimes you just have to cut that off almost right away, and it's not going to work. So if the sample does not capture me at the very least with their voice, then I can't deal with that. Then the next thing I got was A Nightwise, which is the first book in the Nightwise series by R.S. Belcher, and I didn't look this up before I came over here. I vaguely remember it being about like a magician detective type thing. So bad ke-sha. The next book that I got was The Syndicate by Brick, and this is the first one in the series as well, and it follows like I think 11 kids, or like they're grown-ups now, but when they were kids they were adopted by this woman, and she dies tragically one day, and then they go to the house to go like look through the things, split the money, but then they discover that she had some enemies, and that really she was working this underground syndicate type deal, and that they were supposed to take over the syndicate. It vaguely reminded me before it got to like her being like basically a mob enforcer type deal of the Four Brothers movie that I really loved. I love that. Yeah. So anyway, then I got Warbreaker and Elantris by Brandon Sanderson, and then I got The Innocent by David Valdici, and is first in the Will Roby series, and I absolutely loved it. And I since read the first, second, and third book because my library actually had the others, so that's how I'm going to get the others from now on. Absolutely loved it, though I had to take a break because too many audiobooks. And then the next thing that I got was a Maltese Falcon by Dashmil Hammett, because I vaguely remember the movie. I don't fully remember the movies, but I always wanted to read the book. So here we go, and then hopefully I will watch the movies after. And then I got Alice by Christina Henry, and this is the first book in the Chronicles of Alice. As far as I know, there's only two, but it follows this girl Alice who wakes up in an insane asylum. And then the next thing I got was The Clausen Empire by John Scalzi, which is the first book in the Interdependency series, and this is another like big space show thing. And then I got Aesop's Fables by Aesop, which I like those fables. I just think they're interesting, so I decided to go ahead and get that. And then I got the Society of the Sword trilogy by Duncan H.M. Hamilton, and it includes the Tattered Banner, the Huntsman Amulet, and the Telestrain. And in this world, magic is banned, and basically how you make a living is by the sword. And so this boy, he gets like, what's that word? He gets like someone finds him and they put him up in like this exclusive sword school, but then of course nothing is as it seems. I forgot that word usually. Whatever, it'll come to me later after this is over. And then I got Mage's Blood by David Hare, which is the first book in the Moontide Quartet series, and I was so happy to finally actually get this book. This book has been on my wish list for forever and a day. It's just always been kind of there. Like, I've never actually put it in my cart or checked it out, or like it hasn't even gotten that far. It's just been there, and I look at it, I'm like, I should get that, and I usually don't end up. So I'm really looking forward to this. So every 12 years, this bridge that is sunk underwater comes up, and when it comes up, there's this people who want to invade all the other countries and conquer them, which apparently everyone wants to do in these books. And so everyone's kind of gearing up for a war. And then the next thing that I got is Chalk by Paul Cornell, and this one is like a horror fantasy. I don't know, not horror fantasy. I don't know, but it follows this boy, and he's being bullied like really, really badly. Like, he's trying to stay out of it, but they're not really letting him. And they take him into the forest where something like happens, and then like horror supernatural, like, yeah, so it turns into this whole thing, and it's gonna get interesting, I can tell. And then the next thing that I got is gonna be Kindle books. So first thing I got was The Revengers by Alistair Reynolds, and this is the first book in a series, and the next book doesn't come out until like 2019, so I have time to do some catching up. So this one is kind of like follows the theme of, like, I want to call them scavengers. That's not their word. Treasure hunters in space. So they try to go around and find planets and like get past the booby traps and everything and get the treasure from those planets. So that sounds interesting. And then I got Dawn of Wonder, the first book in the Waken series by Jonathan Renshaw, another fantasy. And then I got Daywatch and Twilight Watch, which are the second and third book in the Watch series by Sergi Lagnino. And this follows, so we have like these supernatural creatures who are always like in some kind of war thing, but they have a balance. So everybody with supernatural powers are either go for the light side or the dark side. And there's always been a balance, but now like things are stirring up and one side is going to win or not, and that's a bad thing. And then I got The School for Good and Evil by Saman Chinian, and this follows these two girls, and one of them thinks they're going to go to the school for good, and one thinks they're going to go to the school for evil, but then when time comes, they get switched. So I've been meaning to read this. I own the first 3 books. There's a 4th book that just came out. So I really need to get a handle, and I thought having it on my Kindle would help me better. And then the next thing I got is The Secret of G by Pierre Grimbert, and that includes The Six Heirs, The Orphan's Promise, and Shadow of the Ancients. And I forgot the synopsis for this. That is really shameful, ke-sha. It was another fantasy series though. Then I got The Heart of Stone by Ben Gallet, another fantasy book. Mr. Adam by Pat Frake, which I'm looking forward to. This one takes place in a world where something happened and all the men are rendered sterile even if they're in the womb, But then a baby girl is born, right? And I think she's like the first girl to be born. And it turns out that this guy was in like some really deep, dark, like coal mine or something, like when this thing happened, and now he is a very popular man and he is in demand. So going on, the next thing that I got was The Vagrant, which follows this guy, and he's named The Vagrant. He has no other name, and he's just like kind of wondering. He's on a quest to the Shining City, and all he has with him is like some provisions, a sword, and a baby. And the people really need this sword and this baby apparently. And then I got Crash and Burn and Part and Parcel by Abigail Rule, I've been wanting Crash and Burn for like the longest time, but I didn't buy it because I didn't want to give in before I reread the series. But I think I'm just done. It's been years. I just need to give in and at least read the last book, because apparently me rereading the other ones probably ain't gonna happen anytime soon. And then I got The Thousand Names by Jungle Wexler, another fantasy book. And then I got The Fold by Peter Clines, which is another sci-fi book. And then I got Tate by Ella Frank, which is the 5th book in the Temptation series, and it's part of the new trilogy she has going on, because she wrote 3 books before, and then she all of a sudden came out with 2 new books this year, and then they have 1 more. So as soon as that last one is closer to coming out, I'm gonna get on this. Well, actually I already started rereading it, so this is good. By the time the last one comes out, I'm gonna be ready. Then I got Eliza and Her Monsters by Francis Zappia, which has been going around. And then I got The Last Witch by Andrzej Sapkowski, which is the first book in the Witcher series, if we're going by publication order, I believe. Sorry, my teeth hurt. But I have not played the game, which is how everybody knows about this, but I've been seeing this around and it sounds so good, and it's another fantasy thing, so I'm really looking forward to that. And then the next thing I got was Central Station by Lava Tahar, another fantasy novel. ke-sha, yes, another fantasy novel. And then I got The Earthseed duology by Octavia E. Butler, which has Parable of the Sower and Parable of the Talents. So there are those. And then I got The Lost Causes by Alyssa and Bruce Swartz and Jessica Kosi-Eating, which I pronounced none of those right probably. But this follows like these teenagers who are kind of cliche. There's like the rebel or whatever, the bad girl, I don't know, like geek, whatever. But what happens is they all have troubled pasts, and the FBI erases those troubled pasts and unlocks their psychic abilities to hunt down somebody. That sounds awesome, and it was still on sale last time on the Kindle. I got checked. It's only like $4 on the Kindle. And then I got The City Stain by Sam Skies, the first book in the Bring Down Heaven series. And this follows like there was this living god who made all our modern technology basically, but he had to go because he was kind of evil. So he kind of stirs and he's kind of awakening, and the world is kind of going into like wars and all this stuff, and he's trying to convince this one person to let him out because he can handle everything. I wouldn't trust him. Then the next thing that I got was Thief of Time by Terry Pratchett. This is like the 23rd book in the Discworld series, but I decided whenever they were on sale just to go ahead and get them because I really didn't want to read the series. But I own the first one, so hopefully I'll get to that soon. And then I got some books. These first 2 are from Amazon. I just went ahead and got it, which is book 2 and 3 of the Powder Mage trilogy by Brian McLean. I own the first one, and then I bought this one, and I wasn't gonna buy this one at first, but then I was like, it's kind of hard to find them at a decent price in hardcover, so I just went ahead and got them. How could I resist? I couldn't. That's the answer. And then I went ahead and got this from eBay, The Realms of God by Tamara Pierce, and this is the last book in this the Wuss Speaker. No. What is the name of this series? I totally forgot, which is shameful because I love the series and I've reread it many, many times. So I'm really looking forward to rereading it again. But first I have to reread her Lioness Quartet. Like, not reread it, read it for the first time because I've never read it. And this is kind of like, it's set in the same world and everyone seems to love that one. So hopefully that will be true because I finally got the first book a while back. And then some pre-orders. I got Adult Sense by Gabby Hanna, so I'm really looking forward to this. Some people have thought it was utter trash, and some people really enjoyed it, so I'm wondering how I'm going to feel. No matter what, I still like her YouTube channel. And then I got One Dark Throne by Kendar Blake. I was supposed to read this, but then it turned from a duology into more, so now I'm probably going to put it off just a little bit while longer. We'll see. But I love Kendar Blake, so hopefully I love that series as much as I love her other 2 series. And then I got They Both Die at the End by Adam Silvera. I already read it. I gave it like 4 stars, and I really enjoyed it. And I really liked it, but I definitely think there were 1 or 2 things I was just like, no, I'm not going to get over that. But overall, really, really enjoyed the book, and I love the characters. And then the next thing I got is The Dreadful Tale of Prosper Redding by Alexandra Brecken. I only read the first page of this, but I'm really looking forward to this. So this follows this Prosper, and in his family, like, there was a curse someone sold their soul to some demon long ago, and then kind of bailed on the deal, and now that demon is back for revenge on the remainder of the family. So that's going to be fun. And then I got The Language of Thorns, Midnight Tales and Dangerous Magic by Lee Bardugo. And this is, I think, a part of her Grishaverse, yes. And it looks so beautiful. I only read Shadow and Bone, but how could I resist? How could I? It was so beautiful, you guys. It was so beautiful. Don't judge me. And then last but not least, something I got from Barnes & Nobles. Yes, I know, Barnes & Nobles. But then again, while I was online on Barnes & Nobles, I remember why I don't buy from Barnes & Nobles that much. It was so irritating. They really do need to do something about their online system, because these weren't in store. I had checked. Probably wouldn't have bought them anyways, but still. I had a gift card for Barnes & Nobles, and then they were doing like 15% off orders of $40 or more. So what I got was the Fateful and the Fallen series by John Gwain. And then the first one is Malice, which I've already read and loved, and Valor, Ruin, and Wrath. Let me pick all that up. If you guys are on my Instagram, you probably already known and seen about these. But if you guys have read any of these books that I have mentioned down below, let me know. And let me go know what kind of books you guys have bought lately. And what's one of your favorite book series? Because I would love to know. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye.